Hey, what's up guys? I'm BTC. Well, it looks like Bastion is going to get some pretty big changes. This isn't a complete rework like they did with Symmetra, but it's definitely a major shift in the playstyle of the character. Now, Bastion is one of those heroes that is kind of all over the place in terms of balance. If you were to ask someone from Bronze, Silver, Gold, or Plat, they would probably tell you that Bastion is strong or maybe even overpowered. However, if you were to ask someone who's in Diamond, Master, Grandmaster, Top 500, they're probably going to tell you that Bastion is weak, situational, or just plain garbage. That's actually a pretty big problem, but that's a topic for a whole nother video. I just wanted to point it out so that people understand that just because a hero is strong in your skill bracket doesn't mean that it's good in other skill brackets. After looking at these changes though, I think Bastion is probably going to end up in a much better spot for everyone. The funny thing is, the very thing that makes Bastion strong in the lower skill brackets is what makes him so weak in the higher skill brackets. The basic idea is for Bastion to set up in one spot and usually have a Reinhardt helping defend him. For people in the lower skill brackets, this can be very difficult to deal with, making it very strong. But players in the high skill brackets can deal with this situation no problem, and kill the Bastion quite easily, which is why it's so weak. So it looks like Blizzard is trying to make Bastion less of a turtle character. They're shifting the hero towards using Recon mode instead of Sentry mode as the primary means of fighting. And I think this is going to help both the lower and the higher skill brackets. So let's go through all the changes. First up is Recon mode. Lowered spread and increased magazine size to help with the general viability in this mode. Right now, Bastion's Recon mode is pretty garbage. The damage isn't too bad, but the spread is pretty terrible. It's much worse than Soldier 76, and it also takes a lot longer to reset. Basically, how long after you stop shooting for the bullets to be accurate again. Also, adding more bullets to the magazine means that he can stay in the fight a little bit longer, so that's a little bit of a buff as well. Next up is Sentry mode. We're looking at focusing this mode into more of a tank buster and barrier buster mode, while also making it feel less suicidal to be transformed. To that end, we're testing stuff like increased spread and removing headshots, but taking less damage while transformed. These changes to Sentry mode means that it's not going to be as powerful or as useful as it was before. In the current version of Bastion, you basically want to be in Sentry mode as much as possible, and that's because it's so much better than the Recon mode. However, with these changes, a Bastion player is going to want to be in Recon mode most of the time. The new style of play is not going to be about sitting in a corner waiting for the enemy team. Instead, it's going to be about Recon mode, running and gunning, being mobile, staying with your team. You're only going to want to switch to Sentry mode in order to deal with a specific threat, like a Reinhardt shield or a D.Va, or maybe if a bunch of the enemy are all grouped up. And when you do switch, you'll have a little bit more durability, so if they're trying to focus you down, you don't get instantly obliterated. For the lower skill players, this is really good, because it means that the old Bastion who could just sit behind a Reinhardt shield won't be as big a problem or as big a threat as he was before. Because now Bastion isn't going to be doing nearly as much damage in Sentry mode as he used to. He can't land headshots, and he's going to have a lot more spread. For the higher skill players, this means that the new style of Bastion has much more mobility, making it a lot more viable. Instead of just sitting in one spot, the Bastion player can now move around a lot more freely, which is extremely important for high-level gameplay. The last change is self-repair. We've been testing a few big changes to this that are feeling really good so far. Currently, our internal build has Bastion able to self-repair while moving and also having it no longer interrupted when taking damage. To balance that out, it is now on a resource system, similar to how D.Va's defense matrix is. Basically, you only have a certain amount and then it has to recharge. These changes have turned this ability from a more niche, rarely used ability to a much more powerful and core survival tool. Also, again, this helps Recon mode with the whole run and gun thing. This is a pretty good change. Now keep in mind, under this new system, Bastion's not going to have infinite healing ability like he does now. It's going to be limited. That means he can't just run around constantly healing and making himself invincible. He's probably only going to have about like 5 seconds worth of healing. And of course, while he's healing himself, that means he's not shooting at you. So if a Bastion player chooses to just sit in the open and heal up, you can just keep shooting him and negate the healing. So putting this all together, it means that the Recon mode is going to be the primary way to fight, and you're only going to want to switch to Sentry mode in certain circumstances. This should make it easier for the lower skill players to deal with, and make it more viable for the higher skill players. Now, I don't know the exact numbers, so I can't say for certain if you're all of a sudden going to start seeing Bastion popping up in a lot more of the tournaments. I think the determining factor is going to be just how good his Recon mode spread actually is. If they improve it by quite a bit, then it's entirely possible Bastion could even serve as a replacement for Soldier 76. I know a lot of people probably panicked when they heard that Bastion was getting a buff, but trust me, these are actually really good changes that address the problems that players in both the lower skill and the higher skill brackets have with this hero. As soon as they put these changes on the PTR, I'll test them out and let you know how good they are. So let me know what you think about all these changes. Give me your feedback in the comments section below. But that's going to be it for this one, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe because there's lots more Overwatch on the channel. Remember, always blame the controller because it's never your fault.